Welcome to Fortress of Faith with Tom Wallace, calling North America to repentance and revival.
Welcome back once again to the Corner of Truth and Courage. You're listening to Fortress of Faith. Well, folks, I'm recording this on a Thursday night for our Friday broadcast, and I fear that soon we're going to see a full-scale war in Israel. Probably, if it's not already unleashed on the news today, it'll be coming here real shortly, is my suspicion. Here's what's been happening, so you kind of see the build-up to this. Of course, October 7th, last year, we had the attack of Hamas coming out of Gaza, the horrific crimes that they committed. They took a page out of ISIS in their jihadi attacks there and did abominable things there to the Israelis there. Took hundreds as captives back into Gaza. So this conflict was begun through an aid of Iran. Hamas doesn't do what they do unless they have clearance from Iran. They're funded and organized and trained by the Iranian government. However, they are the B team. They are not the A team. They're the JV team. The main force for the proxy war that Iran has is in Lebanon, the Hezbollah, and these are fellow Shiites. That's what the Iranians are. They're Shiites. However, Hamas, they are Sunni. So, Iran really doesn't care if all the Sunnis of Hamas die and perish in this conflict, in this war. They, it's kind of like the English fighting the Scottish and saying, or the French and saying, okay, let's send in the Irish, in the middle. Let's let them go in first. If they all get killed, they're Irish. It's okay. And, so that's kind of the attitude that the Shiites have about the Hamas, about the Sunnis down there on the southern border of Israel. They both want the destruction of Israel. Iran has the money. Hamas doesn't, so they're gladly to be funded. This conflict that started 9 months ago was begun largely because of Iran. Of course, Israel was forced to go into Gaza. They planned, that was the goal. They're going to trigger the outright war. That's what Iran wanted. They wanted but they need the Arabs. They need the Arabs to get involved in this war, but they didn't. They stayed home. They figured surely the Arabs will join them if Israel goes into Gaza, but they didn't. They stayed home. And so we've had this war going on for some time. And meanwhile, up in the north, Hezbollah has been firing some of its rockets. They're not really engaged fully yet. That's coming soon. But they've just kind of muddied the water and kept Israel, on two fronts, a little bit of fighting and so on there from the north and the south, keeping Israel busy. Well, then, of course, that rocket attack that killed the 12 Druze children in the Golan Heights, that was, something that Israel had to respond to again. And every time Israel responds, they're always blamed for escalating the conflict. Don't listen to the nonsense. Israel has every right. They make measured attacks. But look what they did. Look what Israel has done in the last 36 hours. They took out Hezbollah's top leader in Beirut, Fawad Shukr. They killed him through an airstrike. And furthermore, they took out Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas leader that has been parading around the world, lives in Qatar, a billionaire. $4 billion was his net worth. But Israel took him out in the capital city of Iran. In Tehran, they were able to take him out. This, folks, I don't know if you understand. I hope you can. This surgical strike was huge. In the words of former President Trump, huge. It really is. This was a masterful attack because they did it while he was in Iran, whining and dining over there. it sends a couple of messages. One, it shows Iran's involvement in Hamas and all the activities. Secondly, it sends a serious message to Iran. We've got the capability to hit you in your own beds, in your own country. And then we just hear, just 2 hours ago, that the chief Hamas military commander of Gaza, Mohammed Daif, was just taken out by an airstrike. I mean, this is, Israel has gone after the most essential leaders of the war, the commanders, the fighters, those who are really behind what's going on. They've been after Yahya Sinwar over in Gaza. He's been elusive. He's proven to be elusive. That really is probably their number one target of Gaza. If they can take him out, then I think they really will dismantle the leadership. There are others, Marwad Issa, Khalid Mishael, and Mahmoud Zahar. If they can get those people to, start willing it away, then I think it will leave Hamas with very little leadership. The principle is cutting off the head. Now, Israel is certainly no longer looking for a ceasefire deal. Why? Because let's see what they're getting from the international leaders. Here's what they're getting from the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, is saying to Israel, let's make a deal, but don't worry about your hostages. Don't include your don't insist that your hostages are in the deal. What? I mean, leave your over 100 of your hostages, leave them, let's have a ceasefire deal, but let your hostages be lost to you. Just let them rot in Gaza. Are you kidding? No wonder Israel's not going to listen to it. And what are they going to get from America? Here's what Kamala is listening to. You need to know that Kamala is only as good as her advisors. She doesn't have the experience of being a world leader, but here's who she's listening to. She's listening to a guy named Philip Gordon. Philip Gordon used to be Obama's Middle East coordinator. He wrote a book some years ago, Winning the Right War. And he's pretty much trying to picture the Muslims with this mentality that the terrorist attack, they're not evil people. And it's not that they hate freedom. And for us to think of that way, we're misguided. This is what his message is in his book. He says, even most of the Muslims who support terrorism and trust Osama bin Laden favor elected government and personal liberty. So he's trying to say, hey, these are really, at heart, these people are they want democracy. They want personal liberty. Gordon's not very familiar with the religion of Islam. I can tell you that by his statements. But look at the other nonsense he's saying there. It's not that they hate our freedoms. They just feel shame over the state of their once Islamic great civilization that has been surpassed by other cultures. And so they're embarrassed by that and upset by that. And they just simply, and especially by the new upstart nation of Israel and how well they've done, that just bothers them and they can't stand it. He just, he wants us to think that, it's just, they're embarrassed and they just want a little bit of cut of the pie of some prosperity. You know how many billions of dollars we keep sending over there? By the way, you know what they're doing with it? The international aid that we send to the Palestinians, the Palestinians are now paying, let me get this article up here. Bear with me just a minute. Palestinians are paying, according to the Washington Free Beacon, this is a new report. They're paying $16.4 million each month to all the families that have been involved in Islamic terrorism. They've had a program, what they call Pay to Slay. So the Palestinian Authority says to the Palestinians, to the Muslims there in Israel, you kill Jews, you kill the infidel, and die or get jailed or whatever, we will reward you. We will pay you. We will bankroll you. If you're taken to jail for committing, for standing up for Allah and trying to kill the infidel and stuff there, we will financially support your family and all that type of stuff. So they were, and so they still do it. They've been doing this for some time. They were supporting, prior to October 7th, 4,300 people or families that they were making payouts for pay to slay. Now, since October 7th, 9,750 terrorist families and prisoners, they are paying. And now that total has risen. It used to be 14 million and change. Now they're paying over $16.4 million. And how are they getting all this money? How can they afford to do that? Well, the international community is supporting Palestine. And so we send the money to the poor little refugees over there for their poor state that they're in. And what do they do and turn around and do? They pay to slay. They pay the families and give them huge payouts. I mean, $16 million. So back to what's going on in Israel. Israel has always had a difficult task ahead of them, and it's not going to be easy for them. But I do praise God that the United States and other nations, even though some of them are misguided leaders in the West these days, and that support is waning. But so far, America is gearing up and getting ready for a strike, and this could be a full-out blown war. What I will be surprised to see if Arabs jump in there. I'll be surprised if that happens, because the Arabs are looking for peace. And so it'll be interesting what's going to unfold in the next few days. Be in prayer for Israel. Be in prayer for even our leaders in our country. I am still thankful that Biden, although he's under enormous pressure to turn away his support from Israel, and Kamala is likely to take a strong stand if she becomes president. I fear for where America could be moving under her leadership in this regard. But Iran has a very limited window. They do not see a strong leader in America, and this presents an opportunity for bullies to stand up and take their opportunity to try to get away with what they want. If this happens in Israel and America gets involved, I wouldn't be also surprised if we see China trying to take Taiwan, see this as an opportunity. Again, a weak leader in the White House, America tied up in a Middle Eastern war. And so the bullies of the world, they only have a few hundred days left to seize their opportunities before America takes an opportunity to vote in a stronger leader. And they see that coming. So, well, that's going to be it for today. A lot to be in prayer for, and I hope you will pray for Israel. Join us again tomorrow at the Corner of Truth and Courage. God bless you.